Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Cafe Wish Podcast. This is your host, Cabin Black, and I am rolling out a whole new segment or series called In the Classroom. So, In the Classroom is where I am going to read something like an article or journal that's all relative and relatable to my topics that I address the segments, like from Faith, Fear, and Frontier, from Whiteness in Film to A Gay Like Thee, A Black Like Me, just to name, a couple segments there. So I rolling this out because In the Classroom is where I really want to give my perspective on these topics, especially making sure that my audience is aware of my personality, how I think more deeply. Yesterday I did a live, and that was my live number 5. And I was addressing whiteness in film. And I want to continue that segment. But instead of doing it as an interview, I want to do it as In the Classroom. So as I am developing this podcast, In the Classroom is also going to cover the segments, like I said before, that's on my podcast, but in a different way. So instead of me doing an interview, I'm just doing a reaction to articles, videos, journals, and maybe even some books, some literature, pretty much, giving my reaction and take on what I'm reading. And this is all towards my research. I have a hypothesis that I'm developing, that I'm working on. It's called the Kemetic-Shemitic hypothesis. And I think it's going to be a fun journey exploring this hypothesis. For me, I think it's going to be really fun. And I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy the journey along with me as we make new discoveries, as we make discoveries, as we look at discoveries that were lost and rediscover things. So rediscoveries, as I said before. And maybe get some correction on possibly what I may be claiming on certain topics or certain issues or opportunities that are in my hypothesis as I roll it out, as I introduce it to you, and bring out more facts and opinions in this hypothesis. There are certain things I'm gonna have to amend, modify. There's certain things I'm gonna have to readdress and give redress to. And that's all a part of research as I'm learning it to be. Okay, so this In the Classroom is going to be on whiteness in film. So let me officially restart it. Okay. Welcome everyone to Cafe Wish Podcast. I am your host, Cabin Black, and this is In the Classroom. Okay. Today's topic is going to be on whiteness in film. All right. Now, I kind of want to go over what the title is, Whiteness in Film. What is whiteness? Well, let's get a working definition for what whiteness is. Okay, so this definition of whiteness is coming from U.S. Department of Education.gov. And let's just take a look at this article or this passage. Okay. This is coming from, so this looks like to be a passage or an excerpt from maybe a book or some type of literature. All right. So I'm going to begin reading what I am seeing. So once again, this is coming from U.S. Department of Education.gov. Let's see what it says. All right. So now I'm reading the passage. What do you mean by whiteness? That's the question. A professor, 4 doctoral students, and a student affairs administrator explore whiteness. So here are some names: Stephanie Power Carter, Michelle Honeyford, Dion McCaskill, Frank Guthrie, Susan Mahoney, Agnes D. Carter. So these are just the names that are listed in this reading here, this passage, this excerpt. Okay. In this article, 4 doctoral students, 2 white females, 1 African American female, a white male, an African American female assistant professor, and an African American male student affairs administrator reflect on the difficult dialogues that took place during a seminar on whiteness. So it says Watts, 2007. Privilege Identity Model. The acronym for that is PI. P as in Paul, I as in India, E as in Echo. Was integral in understanding students' reactions and reflections as they began confronting and interrogating whiteness in their own experiences. Okay. So that was like a brief summary or introduction of what the following writing or reading is going to be about. So let's continue. As a Black female scholar, I have consciously attempted to address privilege through the creation of courses that afford my students and me opportunities to engage in difficult dialogues. Watt, 2007. Opportunities to engage in difficult dialogues are important on today's college campuses, as the world in which we live is becoming increasingly diverse. Thus, student affairs practitioners must create opportunities and be prepared to facilitate dialogues that help students deal with issues of privilege, diversity, and social justice. Watt, 2007. During an intensive summer session, I was afforded the opportunity to create and teach a doctoral seminar entitled Critical Perspectives on Whiteness in Education. Very interesting. 9 interested doctoral students signed up for the course. We began the semester by exploring our own definitions of whiteness. Together, we collaboratively constructed a definition we constantly revisited throughout the course. Quotations. Whiteness is a hegemonic, probably saying that wrong, hegemonic system that perpetuates certain dominant ideologies about who receives power and privilege. Whiteness maintains itself in cultures through power dynamics within language, religion, class, race, relations, sexual orientations, etc. End quotations. Continue reading here. Well, let me react to that. So far, you have highly educated individuals who decided to come together during a summer session to have a seminar about what their experiences are related to whiteness. And they're taking all of their experiences and how they see it through their lens and creating a definition for collaboratively creating a definition for what whiteness is. And this is what they came up with. And I think it's, well, first, before I read that, I think it's a great idea. You have some educated, and I don't mean this, and it may sound wrong, so let me rephrase it. You have brilliant people coming together, bright minds coming together, wise individuals who are educated, who are actually working to create a working definition for what whiteness is, according to, once again, their experiences, their wisdom. And trying to create meaning or give a new meaning to what whiteness is to them. And in doing so, they take their expertise, their knowledge, their training to critically examine their experiences, once again, in pursuit to creating, once again, a collaborative effort of thought in producing a meaningful, intelligent working definition for what whiteness is. I think that's dope. I think that's great. It really is important for me to read this, in my opinion, because although this has taken place, according to what I'm reading, 2007. So this was possibly conducted, this seminar possibly was conducted the early 21st century. Like at the beginning, 2007 is like really at the beginning of the 21st century. And this is 19 years ago. Right? This was possible.